Smartly Uneducated is hands down the greatest podcast in the world. But be warned, this one is not for the faint of heart. With topics ranging from true crime to conspiracy theories, this podcast doesn't shy away from violence or controversial content. Their slogan,
"Oh, we're going to Pluto to see alien titties,"
or
and suck on it till you get some raw milk,
isn't just a catchy tagline. It's the truth. These hosts have a world of knowledge that expands across the cosmos. If you are looking for a podcast that will make you laugh, make you think, and make you reevaluate your life choices, tune into Smartly Uneducated and join the uneducated madness.
Typical. Welcome to Smartly Uneducated. I am Evan, and I'm always and graciously hosted and co-hosted with my buddy Ben here. Say hi, Ben.
Hello. Yes, normally. Yeah, but you're also back in the studio
I
now,
am
full
back.
time, baby.
I'm
No
back.
more Discord audio bullshit. Which I would say still hold on to your that soundboard. I
Oh,
got
yeah.
you. Keep it at your place, just in case. You never know. What if there's like really bad weather, or maybe just time constraints of coming all the way out to my
Or
place?
we get mad at each other and we don't want to see each other in person.
and you start your own podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the Evan squared.
I'm not gonna lie. If that was something, I'm gonna put my arm rest down too.
Yeah, it's comfy.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah, dude. Why wasn't I doing that before? Oh, that's why I always did it, because of reaching the
Keyboards.
switcher. The switcher. But that's okay. There we go. Anyways.
This episode is brought to you by Guinness.
Oh.
Guinness. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast, Guinness. Oh, God. Disclaimer. We are not sponsored by Guinness. We would love that if you were.
We are sponsored by them. We're gay with them.
In our dreams, at least.
I have so many wet dreams about Guinness.
And those of you listening who are hearing my voice and wondering why I sound this way, I have a minor illness, a cold, and I am a raspy man.
Do you need nasal spray?
Oh, no. I need much more than just nasal spray, brother. I went to the NRA convention today.
Yeah. So
I have an announcement to make.
Before you make the announcement, let's say what this episode's about, because we're going to jump right in all that shit the moment you're done, because I'm going to give you 3 minutes
All right, right
to
on.
go through it. With that being said, we are going to talk about secret and hidden pyramids. So everything from like the Black Pyramid that's supposedly below the ice in Antarctica,
Yep.
to the pyramid that is in the Denali National Park, and then also like Grand Canyon. There's another one that a guy came across that's in, I think it's Arizona.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah. It's a really weird one. That's a public one. Like you can actually go to it, but there's no road that goes to it, so you have to ride a 4-wheeler.
You probably have to have like a Secret Service tag along and announcement.
No, it's not even guarded. It's just, yeah, weird. Anyways, go ahead. And
So
do your
yeah,
thing.
I went to the NRA convention today. I got a free ticket to go to it, and I said, why not?
Mhm.
Good Lord, is this place an absolute shit show? It is.
What about it was a shit show?
It is just filled with fat Americans running around this place, talking to pretty girls at the stands as if you're at a regular like convention, like a Comic-Con or something.
You know, the thing is though, they probably do get laid though.
Who?
The fat dudes
Oh,
running
well,
around.
I mean, probably.
Oh, all damn our country girls. They're like, what? You're a conservative Republican? That aligns with my indoctrinated view. I want get on that dick.
Yeah, it smelled like horse manure in there oftentimes, and it smelled like hay. A lot of country folk going in there, and a lot of just city folk wandering in, not knowing what's happening today.
Oh, can I clarify something I just said?
Yeah, of course.
I know I just ripped on being conservative. I hate liberals just as much. So fuck everyone.
Yeah, we hate them both.
I'm a very centerline person. So just to clarify, you conservatives that do listen to us, I still love you. Stuff. Fuck the liberals. But don't worry. Now it's the liberals. Fuck the conservatives. See, we're all friends here.
Yeah, playing
There
both
we go.
sides. You got to play both sides.
You might say I'm bi politically.
Oh, yeah, are you bipartisan, bisexual?
I am bisexual when it comes to the political spectrum.
But anyway, the NRA convention
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any
Anyways,
sense.
you go ahead. Go.
The
Sorry.
NRA convention was honestly a lot of fun. It was very cool to see all of these individuals who are gunsmiths and gun manufacturers making these insane firearms. There was this guy there that I met. His name's Odin, who's making firearms that weigh 3 pounds for rifles, and most rifles weigh anywhere from 6 to 7 pounds. This guy makes them the most lightweight, like zero recoil. If you're into video games and like the meta of video games, how you can make guns that have zero recoil, this guy has done that in real life. It's
Damn.
bizarre.
Damn.
That's
what's up.
They also make scopes that you can get that are thermal and heat seeking as well. Not heat seeking, heat sensitive. So it does thermal, heat seeking, and night.
Heat sen-
Heat-
alright, so well, thermal is heat though.
Well, so it does the white phosphorus and the red.
Oh, okay.
And-
You're just trying to figure out what the term's called. I got you. I
Yeah.
don't know what the term's called. I haven't followed that in a long time. So
Again, I got a free ticket to this thing. I'm not some like gun ho gun nut. I like guns. I like things. I like.
oh, you're very pro gun.
I like a lot.
Don't confuse yourself, dude. Me and you have had many conversations about guns and it's like the right to bear arms and all that stuff. No, you are very pro Second Amendment, 120%. So don't dumb it down. I'm not saying that you're a gun nut. You're like, oh, I gotta go to a convention. No, you're not one of those guys.
No, I'm not.
If that's all you're meaning by it, then yes, that is 100% factual.
That's all I mean by I'm not going to go to every convention. I'm not going to go to.
I was just making sure to clarify for the listeners so they didn't think you were anti-gun.
I mean, I own guns. I'm an American. What are you talking about? It's my right. Anyway,
No one can see it because I didn't have the camera.
I
on
know
me.
you fucking cook.
Anyway,
My favorite thing that I saw there was a man who was in a wheelchair that had tank tires on it. He was cruising around with an AR on his back and
No
he had
shit.
tank tires, like auto wheelchair. It was the most goofy thing in the world.
bro, if the Hover-Round ever makes a comeback from like the 90s, remember the Hover-Round commercials?
Yeah.
How'd you get to the Grand Canyon, Grandma? Hover-Round! You know? Bro, they should make a conservative, a pro-gun Hover-Round ad. Get that motherfucker right in there.
They did, and it had the ATV all-terrain tank tires on it, tank tread.
Bro. Hey, Willie, how'd you get to the Grand Canyon? I shot past a bunch of fucking liberals. I shot them good. I saw some illegals too, but they're too far off. My aim's not as good as it used to be. That would be something that would probably sound like.
Oh, probably right. Another fun thing that happened there, they made an announcement over the speakers at 2:15. It was, "This just in, Donald J. Trump has entered the building, and he will be making a speech at 2:30. The fucking building, it's as if an earthquake hit. It was like a rumble in the jungle, dude. People began to evacuate to go to this section. The amount of waddlers walking down the aisles was amazing.
So basically, it was the scene in Wall-E when they all decide to start walking again on the ship, and
Yes.
it's like, dun,
Yes.
dun,
And
dun.
I'm sure you've seen on like social media and Facebook and all these different platforms of people wearing their MAGA hats and their MAGA shirts and their bedazzled Donald Trump clothing. These people were like cheering and singing songs on the way to the speech room. I wish I would have been smart enough in the time to take out my phone and begin to record it and like take photos. But I saw it. Saw it with my own eyes, Ben. I saw the orange man. I saw him through the doors. I saw his head.
Did you see his eyes, or was it just his hair?
Just his head. I saw his chin up. His big fucking gorder of a neck.
That's amazing. I thought you were about to say just his hair, so I was about to be like, so you saw a corn husk walking, like floating across the top of the ridgeline. That's good eating.
Not everybody can say they've seen a president. Now, granted, it's Donald Trump.
Mhm.
No matter if you like him or not, it's cool to see a president. The amount of police force and Secret Service that were there was overwhelming.
Oh, yeah, I would expect
Yeah.
nonetheless. And you have to remember, by the way, when that was happening, was your phone working?
No, it was not. I couldn't take any photos or anything.
Yep. They disabled it.
I tried to pull it up, take a photo of him because he was just briefly walking across the
Mhm.
stage, and I couldn't do anything.
Yep, they disabled it.
Yeah.
I actually have I'll tell you later. But yeah, no. I wanted to ask because I got to be right next to when Barack Obama was president. I got to be right next to his motorcade and I had no idea. All I knew was that everyone started like this is when I lived in Colorado Springs. And all of a sudden everyone started freaking out because I was working as a mover at the time. And I was in my work truck, a box truck or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we're like, what's all the commotion going on up there? People were like, literally had their cars, like everyone was stopped. And then, like, all of a sudden, this police unit came up, like the local PD, started making everyone move over. And then they had like people down. This is on a interstate. This is Interstate 25 that
Damn.
runs from New Mexico. It runs all the way up through Colorado, all the way into Wyoming and shit. And they were forcing everyone over and like making everyone stay because they were clearing the whole way for his motorcade. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I look in my mirror because I was the driver and I see this thing coming. I didn't know it was Barack Obama at the time. And I pull up my phone because I was like, what's going on? I tried to like Google like what's happening in Colorado Springs right now.
Yeah.
My phone had zero service. Like literally it was taken out. No, sir. And that's where I always had full service, like on 25. Never.
Yeah, it's a major highway.
Yeah. And I was in the middle of the city. Like you had full service and there was no dead spots there. No service. And then all of a sudden my phone locked itself. Like full on lockout.
Oh yeah.
And that's what happened to my coworker, my other mover, like the guys I worked with.
The passengers.
Yeah, I had two guys, one in the middle seat, one in the bitch seat for skiing,
Yeah.
and then the other guy in the
I
passenger
hate
seat.
that you did the motion.
It happens, dude. But yeah, blocked it all out. So yeah, it was an interesting thing. And then it drove by, and then I found out afterwards when our phones worked, it was Barack Obama.
Yeah. And then I went and got a free chicken strip. It's
All right.
fantastic.
Oh hell yeah! I didn't mean to interrupt you. You talk about presidents. You said you never met a president before.
I
seen
still
one.
haven't met one.
I met George W. Bush though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually got to meet him in person
And all of
shake
his
hand.
his dogs.
I was a kid.
He loves dogs. He's got a lot of dogs.
This was he loves dogs. Good for him. W. But I will say this though, and then this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you say whatever. Is there anything? Actually, is there anything else you were gonna say about the?
I'm a full-fledged NRA Republican now, boy. I've been converted. I can't stand these liberals nowadays walking around my conventions with their cat ears on. I can't stand it. I pulled out my suppressor and shoved it up their bungholes.
Oh my god! So you had a pussy silencer like in what was that? What was that? Postal. The
Yeah.
game Postal
Yeah,
2,
yes.
where you can put the cat on the end of the gun. Dude, that game was so fucked up.
They had some cool shit there. I'm not gonna lie. If you
Oh yeah.
find guns interesting, they had like full-on golden silencers made out of gold. Guns fully made out of like silver and gold. It was cool. It was very cool.
It's pretty dope. No, gun conventions are usually if you're in the guns, it's a cool place to go see like custom stuff, like just all kinds of shit, man. Like
I'm just fascinated by the engineering of it all.
Yeah.
Truly, that
you get to see some really good craftsmanship.
the like mathematics and the engineering behind it all is baffling to me. So
I switched back and forth twice.
yeah, I noticed. And I really like how these people have like dedicated their lives to a craft. In my opinion, that's sort of gone in a lot of aspects in reality in our society. Our generation and the generation after that probably won't be dedicating their life to like a specific craft other than their jobs or their families. So seeing these guys who are 35, 45, who have dedicated their past 20 years to figuring out how things work perfectly is just very, very cool to me.
Yeah.
May it be cars, may it be guns, may it be cell phones, technology. If you are able to dedicate your life to a craft, I applaud you. It's very cool.
Speaking of crafts, when it comes to guns, when you told me about, I was waiting to tell you about this. So when you told me about the gunsmithing stuff like a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
So I don't know what wild hair I got up my ass, but I was like, because I like to play with ChatGPT just to fuck with it, just to see what it's capable of doing. But a new version of it just released.
Again, huh?
Yep. And since I pay for a subscription, because I pay for the subscription because I want to be at the forefront of being able to see what it can do publicly. Like,
Does
public
ChatGPT
access.
have an OnlyFans?
Bro, it'd be great. A lot of zeros and ones, dude. Tell you what. Um,
ASCII porn.
yeah, harder. No, I put in there. I was like, I asked it like, how do you rebarrel a rifle, like rebore it, all that stuff, and it was verbally explaining the process, right?
Mhm.
I then asked it, hey, I was like, no, I want you to, basically, long story short, after this back and forth I had with it, and it wasn't even want, I was like, how can you? I asked it. Basically, it got to the point where I was asking it, like, hey, what could you create for me that I could somehow simulate it? And it gave a bunch of different program options, and it listed Unreal Engine, and it wrote me a C++ script for putting into Unreal Engine for a virtual 3D rendering of what it actually does, so you can see it simulate what it does when it rebores the rifle.
Whoa.
Yep.
That's very cool.
It's yeah. I have now. It obviously needs modified the C++ script, so it's like has more detail, but it showed the basic principle. It was a wild, man.
And you
I
plugged
couldn't-
in, you plugged it in and watched
Mhm.
the little like
Yeah.
GIF it made of you.
Yeah, I could grab it and move it around because it's in the simulator
Yeah.
part of it. So you can grab it, move it around, and you can move the thing back and forth so you can see it do the thing, and it rendered the whole rifle and everything. So
Can we
like,
do that for pocket pussies?
isn't
I'm
that
asking for a friend. I'm asking for a
isn't
friend.
that like two sponges and a glove or something?
No, that's like a foot with a vagina attached to it.
Oh, the pussyfoot.
Yeah, pussyfoot.
Oh, hell yeah,
Pussyfooting
dude.
around.
Yeah, that's so gross. Anyways, moving on from
Thank
that
you
shit.
for letting me talk about my NRA experience. There was a huge sign that said the ATF is gay, and I thought that was hysterical. Anyway, that is all.
You know what? You sent it to me. I should download that shit and put it up on the episode.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if you guys are listening to this right now, hopefully it popped up and I remembered. If not,
I'll
SOL.
post it on our TikTok as well. So
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Dude, that was funny. It made me laugh. I laughed at that.
I made a friend during that too. I took a photo of it, and the guy next to me was like, ha, "Gay." That's funny.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Should have pulled like a Hulk Hogan. Been like, hell yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Fuck. Anyways, let's get into the content. So let's talk. What pyramid do you want to start with? Because there's a premise line, right? We know that there's pyramids all around the world. We know that there's some in the Amazon that are still undiscovered. I know they've come across them in that whatever X-ray that they do. It's not an X-ray.
A lidar. The lidar mapping where they like laser map out entire
Yeah.
forests and things
Yeah.
that's underwater as well.
Yeah, and then like remember that scene? I'm sure a lot of people have seen now the original Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
right? And in the beginning, how they use that shotgun shell and they use a shockwave,
Mhm.
right, for the mapping. So they're using vibration to capture what's down there. They did that years ago in one section of the Amazon forest, and that's where they found traces. That's where they actually, it wasn't a pyramid that they found, but that's where they started finding like walls.
Well, I remember they did we talked about it before. I'm not sure if
I think it was on a long old platform.
And we always say that, right? It's on the old platform that you can never listen to, you nerds. If you want to listen to it, you can't.
I actually have one or two of the episodes.
But they took a lidar mapping of the Amazon rainforest and found like old civilizations. They found old walls and old ancient relics, ruins that have been covered up by plants
Mhm.
and fauna from the millennia and whatnot.
Yeah, and so we know that there are, and they've been discovering more. It's the Aztecs, right, down in that. It was, I think it was the Aztecs, right?
Yeah.
In that area, and there is pyramids down there. Hell, there's some that are obviously tourist attractions people go to in South America
Mhm.
and shit. In which the tourists are assholes and do not treat it respectfully and try to climb it. And it's like, dude, don't be fucking climbing that shit. It's old. It's not gonna fall apart. It's fucking big ass stones, but people climbing up on it over and over and fucking with it, it's gonna fuck it up and wear it down over time. So it's like, yeah, let's preserve the thing. Like, yeah, tourists suck. Mainly Americans. That's not true. I've seen some European tourists. They're fucking idiots too.
I
They're
mean,
just as dumb
humans
as us.
fucking suck in general.
Yeah, hands down. But with that being said, there are like they've all these archaeologists have come out and said like you have no idea when it comes to the Amazon, just the Amazon alone, because the jungle there. So people have a good understanding of this. When you cut down a section of that jungle, let's say you go through and you like had machetes and a weed whacker and you cut down vines, literally within a week those vines are back.
Wow.
That's how fast it grows because the Amazon forest is so luscious with life, and the way it's so intertwined with each other between the fungus, and they actually have a evidence to suggest that the fungus may be what is the source of why everything grows back so fast, because the fungus all connects under the ground, right? The fungi does, and it communicates. And even communicates with the plants because it's all up in the trees and every other plant life that's in there connected in the soil. And so it like basically knows that the vines are being cut down because it can feel it.
If I'm not mistaken, the Amazon rainforest has the largest living organism that is mushroom,
Yes.
is fungi based.
Yes.
So it wouldn't. That fact isn't really mind blowing to me that the mushrooms are talking and are able to revitalize and reform the fauna and fluoride so fast.
I want to give a fun fact
Ooh,
about
Ben's
the
fun
fungus.
fact corner.
About the fungus. About fungi down in South America. And then I want to start talking about this first pyramid. I want to start with the Denali one. So basically, it's in the tabs up there. So basically, the fungi over the years since us monitoring it, right? Whoa, what'd you just open?
Nothing.
Whoa, RBX just opened. Whoa, what's up with that?
You can close that out.
I don't know why it just did that.
I
Anyways,
probably clicked it on the second screen.
here, I'll let you take over the mouse. So the fungi, since we've been monitoring it, they've seen it evolve and adapt to where it before it would into small microorganisms, right? It would infect microorganisms, and it would control those microorganisms to work for it, to tell it what to do.
Yeah, that's the what fungi is that? That's the not the reishi. It's cordyceps mushrooms.
Yeah. Well, get this. There's many different fungi down there, but it's all like a hive mind, right? Now there's the fungi has been infecting insects.
Oh yeah.
And controlling insects. And that's just over the period of us been monitoring it, right? So I don't remember how long we've been monitoring it for on that level. I think it's been roughly 100 years. So in 100 years, we've seen it go from microorganisms to insects like grasshoppers and shit, like insects that big. So with that being said, like the whole, like for instance, The Last of Us, right? The video game where the fungus is
it's the cordyceps mushroom. Yeah.
Yeah. They are the fact that it's evolving. The opening scene in the live action adaptation of The Last of Us, where they're talking about the fungi infecting the hosts and controlling it. Dude, the fact that it has leaped that much to now large insects, that's creepy as fuck.
Whoa.
And the reason why it can't infect us yet is due to how our nervous system is. It literally can't affect us because of the electrical charge, the type of current we have in our body, like neutralizes it, it kills it.
How long do you think it'll take for the mushrooms or cordyceps to take over, or what would be the underlying factor to make it happen? Do you think it'd have to be the earth being more warm rather than what it has been, because it might be keeping the mushrooms down? Because I know mushrooms thrive in like a humidic, warm environment.
Dude, I don't know. I'm not an expert in this field. I mean, obviously, but if it can go, and that's just with us monitoring, right? And that's not constant monitoring. We're only able to monitor a small fraction in the reality of this giant organism that's down there because of how big the Amazon is, like how big that area is. Dude, there's no way that we are monitoring every aspect.
Oh, absolutely not.
So for all we know, we don't, based off what we do know, right? It wouldn't surprise me if 100 years, next thing you know, you got rats getting infected.
Whoa.
mice. It wouldn't surprise me because if you see it go from a microorganism that you can only see through a microscope, and then all of a sudden now it's doing it to like basically insects the size of grasshoppers, that's a huge leap. That's a massive leap.
What if it happens to like bears and like leopards and
I don't know, man. It'll
jaguar?
be The Last of Us in real life.
Man, that sounds scary.
I would shit myself. But I would also be very happy because when my neighbor gets infected, I got some beef.
Also, mushrooms taste delicious with beef. So
I'm going to eat this infectious mushroom. I love me some teriyaki, or not teriyaki. What is it? What is that Japanese dish?
teriyaki.
Is it no, not teriyaki mushrooms. There's another type of. It's an actual dish. I forgot what it's called.
Miso? No, that's eggs.
Fuck, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyways, moving on. I just wanted to throw that out there, and it's really creepy.
It's fun, actually. I like that thought a lot. I wonder what the aspect or what the huge push for mushrooms are nowadays. I'm sure you see like adaptogen mushroom drinks and adaptogen mushroom everything. Is this the mushrooms have taken over humans already and they're like, eat us, be infected by us, for whenever we take over, we will be overcome everybody.
Fuck, man. What if aliens aren't even what we think they are? What if aliens are just fungi?
That's very
and
possible.
there was a cataclysmic event a long time ago, and it used to control us, and we were the ones that they used as a vessel, right? But we had no consciousness because the consciousness was the fungi. We were just a host, and
Whoa.
it controlled us like a puppet. And our consciousness, our brain activity was like a vegetable, right? Like basically a vegetative state. So it's like we wouldn't have any knowledge of it. And what if it was something like that, and then a cataclysmic event happened, wiped a bunch of shit out, reset a bunch of stuff, killed a bunch of fungi, cut off that disconnect, made that disconnect happen, and then it was like caveman type shit again. And it's like, ooh. Anyways, that's a stupid theory, but anyways,
I don't know how
pretty
we
stupid myself.
Yeah, same. I don't know how we got there, but the Denali Black Pyramids.
Oh yeah, let's get all right. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's get into the pyramids.
So I pulled up this document from Medium.com. The first sentence is very funny, and I highlighted it because I want Ben to read it.
dude. That's do you want me to read the whole line or just the segment?
The whole line, yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least in the whole line.
It says a conspiracy theory involving alien weapons, pyramid-induced orgasms, and court-martialed generals leads to one man's disappearance in Denali National Park.
So you're
what the fuck? Pyramid-induced orgasms? What?
So you're telling me that I can go look at a pyramid and come? How do I get there, and where's the fastest plane to this place?
I can see it now. You're walking, you finally see the pyramid, like, oh, the architecture. Ah.
Or it's more like I'm wearing blinders and someone's guiding me and they're all moaning up to it and they're like,
all moaning.
we're getting closer. And then like we've arrived, Mr. Graham or Mr. Schmam or Mr. Fram or whatever your name is.
It's like, hey, bro, like the guy that's holding your hand since you're blindfolded. It's like, dude, you're gripping my hand real hard. It's like, I gotta grip onto something because this is intense.
I'm falling over here, and then I remove my blinders and I just bust a nut.
You're just like, oh.
The pyramid-induced orgasms threw me
my
through a
God.
loop, and I love that this person wrote this in 2021, and the first sentence has that in there. Like,
Wow.
I am enthralled in this document already.
Wow. It is interesting. But yeah, so do you want to read this next part?
Sure, yeah. It says, so it showed a beautiful photo of a Denali mountain.
Oh, actually, you know what? I can screen capture this.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll set that up. So go ahead and start reading, then I'll pop it up.
It says, it was mid-August, and 48-year-old Aaron Hernandez and his friend decided to spend their weekend hiking the Hermit Trail in Grand Canyon National Park. At first, everything was going as planned. They dropped down well-graded switchbacks, stopping for bits of shade and enjoying the incredible, if hazy, view of the inner canyon. But on the way back up, their weekend fell apart. Maybe it was the blazing summer sun or simply distraction, but the two got separated and wandered off the main trail. Oh no, where's the orgasms coming in?
That was the picture of that it was showing on there.
Just a beautiful mountain.
Yeah. Anyways,
Eventually,
continue.
eventually the friend made his way to the trailhead, but Hernandez was not so lucky. He spent a night wandering the desert wastes, stumbling through fiercely sharp fields of gray limestone and eerily moonlit cactus gardens. Thankfully, the next morning, exhausted but still alive, Hernandez awoke to the sight of NPS helicopter and was airlifted to safety. Every year, the NPS responds to hundreds of cases just like this. A hiker goes missing, 24 hours, case closed. But very rarely, the search comes up empty-handed. A backpacker in Sequoia Kings Canyon takes a detour and never returns. A tourist mysteriously walks away from his car and disappears into the Yosemite wilderness. Despite helicopters, scent dogs, and search teams, sometimes people seem to simply just vanish. The FBI of the National Park Service steps in for any unsolved crimes that slip through cracks. Though it sounds romantic or like a bad TV show, detectives in flat hats dusting or fingerprints around Old Faithful is not an easy job. The abundant wildlife and bad weather of many national parks wreaks havoc on physical evidence. Even after long searches, all the ISB, don't know what that stands for, may have to go on is a few fragments of torn tint. Some hikers' hazy eyewitness report, or in one of the recent cases, the story of one man's search for a giant alien pyramid buried deep in the Alaskan wilderness. This man's name was 41-year-old Nathan Campbell. That's incorrect. That's not true. I read that sentence wrong.
Oh, reread it, please, so I can make sure that this is accurate.
On May 27th, 2020, 41-year-old Nathan Campbell hired a charter plane out of Talkeetna to fly him to a small lake in the northeast corner of Denali National Park, along with some basic camping gear, blah, yada, 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 to all his gear. He landed smack dab in the center of interior Alaska.
Oh, I'll scroll down for you. I'm going to steal the mouse.
Campbell had picked too far. Campbell had picked a strange place for summer vacation. The plane had dropped him in the shores of Carey Lake, a mile-long, slow shit.
My bad. I took it away from you. There, keep going.
It's about 13 miles to the nearest town. Population of 13 would require a week of hellish bushwhacking on foot. But Campbell wasn't there for fun. He was on a mission. Campbell had come to Carey Lake to search for something until now only existed in the darkest, least updated corners of the internet, the Black Pyramid. Dun, dun, dun. A massive underground structure rumored to be 4 times the size of the famous Chippos in Egypt, and thousands, if not millions of years old. Conspiracy theorists claim the structure is so powerful, it's important to national security, so tantamount that all traces of the pyramid and the military base believed to protect it have been wiped from satellite imagery.
Oh, I got something to add to this.
Please.
I got something to add. Oh, I need to steal the mouse. So basically, so this is a known fact. So they had a bunch of researchers and archaeologists were involved in this. A bunch of archaeologists, they did a seismic readings during geological surveys of the area. And the reason why archaeologists were involved in it was mainly due to the fact that, they were also wanting, it was like, not an expedition, but like a funded event looking for more historical findings and things of like, everything from fossils to potentially like early human life that was up in this area, like that maybe someone lived in those mountains at one point in time, that kind of shit. So it was a funded type expedition. But it says here that they did a survey, seismic readings in the 90s, and they detected it due to its massive electromagnetic signals. So this thing, when they were doing these seismic readings, it was bouncing off of it and then creating massive electromagnetic signals that were getting shot back.
What?
Yeah, and it formed it was a clear as day. According to this, it was a very clear as day, perfectly shaped pyramid.
Wow.
Not like off kilter where it's like open for debate.
Yeah.
So apparently this is known. They know there is one in there, apparently. But then apparently the United States government, sections of the CIA, FBI, and NSA were involved, and now no one's allowed to do anything within the mountains. There's nothing after that. Like Lily's saying that shit. And so now they're writing it off as a conspiracy, even though it is a known fact that they found this. This is all documented, 100%.
Yeah, it says here in the early 90s came the real evidence for the Black Pyramid. Scientists studying shockwaves, as you said, from a 1992 Chinese underground nuclear test recorded a grainy pyramid-shaped spot of interference 700 feet below the surface of Alaska. Age, origin, and function are unknown. It's wild that they can just be like, yeah, it's fucking here, but you can't go look at it.
Yeah, and it's completely closed off. They won't let anyone apparently. It doesn't give the date that it took place. At least I'm not seeing it here on any of the stuff over on my side. But apparently, at some point after that, within the 90s, they cut everyone off.
Yeah.
Once the word really was circulating about this, they cut everyone off, and now it is a no-go zone. You cannot go into certain areas of the mountain range there if you're going to hike and do an expedition.
Apparently, it resonates so much energy that even palm-sized objects made of base quartz can tenderize meat, improve your sex life, and eliminate foul odors from your bathroom.
No wonder they call it pyramid-induced orgasms.
What the foul odors from your bathroom have to do with it?
I don't know either. It's very interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on a second.
It says
Don't move. I just noticed something was happening on your thing. Turn that off. It tried to do that.
Uh-oh. Autofocus on me.
I noticed that
Dare
something
you.
was not right. Come on, go down. Oh, you moved, you piece of crap.
Ignore the camera.
Yeah, ignore the camera. I probably should have switched it to me before I did any of that and stuff. Anyways. Keep going.
I can't. The thing's in the way.
Oh, my bad. I just noticed that. My bad.
So it says pyramids. So I said that it can eliminate foul odors from your bathroom. It says, according to internet gurus, the unique shape of a pyramid resonates energy and can eliminate the bathroom smells. If the result of the nuclear test were true and there was a giant pyramid beneath the center of Alaska, then its powers would undoubtedly be immense, capable of emitting energy waves that could make an outhouse in Fairbanks smell like springtime or produce mind-blowing orgasms 1,000 miles away on the outskirts of Dawson City.
Yeah, so apparently... Sorry, keep going and expand upon that some more. What you were saying.
It's just talking about how well the energy from this pyramid is able to make you have better sex. The internet gurus and conspiracy theorists are saying that the power would be so strong that all of Alaska would have better sex.
Well, get this. I'm going to add another weird knowledge nugget. So get this. There was never a reported UFO incident ever. Anything paranormal, no UFO, UAP, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There was never any type of activity over that mountain range before.
Huh.
Ever since they did, and it says it here, ever since they did the seismic reading, which caused that massive electromagnetic signal to bounce back, shoot at them. Apparently, ever since then, there was UFO reports of apparently a whole bunch ever since.
Wow.
And then once that started, once the word got out about, so that makes sense now. Ever since UFO reports and sightings started happening all over, literally on top of that mountain, all over. They were zipping around apparently. Ever since that happened and the government came in, everyone got cut off.
That explains a lot, right? They don't want you to know about aliens, and the second they found out about this pyramid, aliens start showing up or UAP start showing up.
Yeah,
they don't want people to go over there to look at it.
Because that's the same thing with the black, supposedly this fully black pyramid that is down in Antarctica. And I'm not trying to switch over to talk about that pyramid yet or anything, but apparently that's why it, whenever that was, the word was getting out about it, It's really weird. And this is gonna sound really stupid because I know that there's UFO sightings all over the place now, right? Um, and honestly, a good chunk of them nowadays, I don't even believe they're aliens. I think it's us at this point from reverse engineered technology of things being gathered and experimented with and all that stuff. But with that being said, apparently, like, dude, if you look at UFO cases and all that stuff when it comes to pyramids, there is a fuckload. Like, we're talking a massive spike. Now not Egypt, any of that shit. There was always UFO sightings out there on and
Well,
off,
yeah, there's
right?
all over Middle East.
But that's such a publicized area, right? And such a surveyed, and always has eyes, right? But all these other places that we didn't know pyramids existed, all of a sudden we find out about pyramids there. But then when you look at the UFO cases before they were even discovered, and a lot of time before they were even discovered, the UFO activity was a fucking skyrocket.
I'm at a loss for words for that. Truly,
Mhm.
that there was no sightings, no nothing, and then they do a nuclear test to see what is actually underneath Alaska, and then boom, now there's UAPs and sightings left and right.
Yeah, and it's really weird because in Antarctica, like just to try to do the cross between the two,
Yep.
in Antarctica there was UFO sightings in that place. Well, you already know about the Admiral Byrd thing and then the whole Hollow Earth.
Can
fucking
you
shit.
look up something for me real quick?
Yeah.
Can you search the Alaska corresponding to the pyramids of Giza of Egypt and how they line up on a map, or pull them up a map or something that we can look at, see if they're some sort of great line in between them.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
'Cause
That's
we-
a good question.
We briefly discussed frequencies and holy lines a couple episodes ago whenever we had Christy on and Wolverine on as well.
Oh yeah, Wolverine, Weapon X, my man.
Yeah, so if there is a direct straight line touching most known pyramids across the world, that would be something that would baffle me. That would be a very interesting piece of equipment.
Okay, so I had to search it over here. I wasn't getting much there. So the connection, so they're saying, right, it says here that the idea of connection, because it just searched the web, says the idea of connecting the, sorry, let me start over. It says the idea of connecting the Alaskan, I'm going to bring this over.
I mean, because who's the guy who did Coast to Coast? Ed?
No. That was, oh my gosh, why am I blanking his name? Art Bell.
Yeah, Art Bell. He talked
Bell.
about this with it says,
Art Bell did some wild shit, man.
a retired naval captain talked about it on the radio show and disclosed all sorts of things about it. So,
Oh yeah, but it says here, connections to the Egyptian pyramids. It says the idea of connecting the Alaskan pyramids to the Egyptian pyramids stems from theories that suggest a global network of pyramids built by a highly advanced civilization, or potentially by extraterrestrial beings. The alignment of the pyramids with astronomical bodies, such as the constellation Orion, is often cited as evidence because it lines out with constellations, which is really weird. There's no way that's by coincidence. Like, don't get me wrong, I get coincidences do happen, but when it's on a massive scale, I do not believe that there's coincidence on a massive scale. That takes intent.
absolutely it does.
To get that lined out so full, especially when it comes to pyramids. So if they are literally all around the world, these the big massive pyramids that we know of, apparently perfectly correlate with the constellation Orion. And that's interesting because one of the other things about, I can't believe we're getting into aliens. So
It always goes back to aliens.
when you get in the pyramids, especially some of these like secret ones and the things that are not publicly as much known, there's so much intertwining that happens, and you can't ignore it because it's like a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, is that Orion, right, the constellation of him, everyone just thinks Orion's belt, the 3 stars, But Orion in a total, because I can when it's a clear night, I can see Orion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it also depends on where we are in rotation and blah blah blah, like where he's going to show up. But Orion himself, you have the belt, and then you have the dagger, right, that hangs off the belt. It's like a little cluster of stars right there, and then you have his bow, right, and then you have, I think it's one individual star that's like the tip of the arrow.
That's correct.
Right. So I can't believe I'm getting the aliens. That was not my intent, but it goes with this. So drawing connection with that, right? If it lines out with Orion and it's making the map of Orion with the pyramids that are on Earth, right? Because of apparently where this one's located in the mountain is another geologically, if correlation on a constellation scale, when you connect the dots to them, it forms Orion. Apparently, it's adding another point where Orion, one of the stars, would be that we would see. So where I'm going with this is that supposedly the constellation Orion, the point, right, where the tip of the arrow is.
Yeah.
So that supposed secret meeting that took place with, was it Nixon? With aliens and shit?
I believe it was who's the guy that did the military complex speech?
I thought it was Nixon.
I
can't remember,
might be.
but you conspiracy theorists out there, alien guys, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's a very known conspiracy, right? A theory.
It was Lyndon B. Johnson.
Was it John? Oh, it was Johnson?
Yeah.
So supposedly, these aliens, where they come from, whatever the galaxy was, apparently Orion plays a role in it because of where the tip of the arrow is. It like points to it.
No shit.
Yeah. Like it's in a direct correlation, supposedly.
Huh.
Now, I don't know shit. I'm just going off of what information I can get a hold of, but all the information says that. Like when you look that stuff up, it literally talks about it, because of where that star is. Apparently, that star is located in that particular where the aliens are from.
Wow.
So if it's like, okay, if constellations were such a big deal and it correlates with the pyramids, it's like giving us a roadmap,
I love that thought.
which is really weird. Why would you give us a roadmap but not tell us shit?
I mean,
Unless it's a roadmap for them.
so it might be a
don't
roadmap
know.
for it might be a
I don't know.
roadmap for them and for us to say, hey, we exist. Can you become smart enough to actually find us?
Like a test type thing.
Yeah, because I know the thought a lot of the time is, if aliens exist, why don't they come talk to us? Well, if they come talk to us, we'll be mind blown, and then we won't be able to become the space species on our own. and
Well,
have that helping
supposedly they
hand, right?
have, and then an agreement was made.
Yeah, well, that's also the thought as well, too, right? With the Greys and with the
Greys and the
Anunnaki.
Celestials, or whatever they're called, like
Yeah.
something Celeste. I can't remember the actual term or the name for them.
Isn't Celeste a musical artist? She made music in the 80s.
I don't know, but it rhymes with molest, and we don't like that.
No, we don't, brother.
Yeah, so those Celestials are probably up to something bad, because if it rhymes with it,
It's
must be
gotta
true.
be true.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. That's bad. But apparently there has been contact, right, with a world leader, with many world leaders, because apparently when that thing happened with Johnson, apparently other world leaders were there. It wasn't just him.
Hmm.
From what I've really dived, because I've dived into that so many freaking times, try to deep dive it to try to like get some form of proof or evidence. And the thing is, it's all circumstantial evidence. It's not full-fledged like, hey, look, I have a picture of the outing, you know what I mean, that's unfabricated.
Yeah.
So it's all become circumstantial at that point, and then also kind of a very loose circumstance. So it's like, but there's enough circumstantial evidence to suggest that something like that may have happened.
I love that.
And that's the creepy part, because you should, all of you, since we're on the topic of aliens, I forgot her name, but you should look into Johnson's, I think it's his granddaughter.
Okay.
He told her a bunch of shit, and she wrote a book about it.
Oh.
Yeah, she's been featured on a lot of different podcasts over the past like 15 years. She's done like interviews. Not before podcasting was a big thing. She was doing interviews because
Mostly like
people were-
radio shows and whatnot.
yeah, and people
right?
were asking her. She still does them, but she just says it what she remembers. She's retelling the stories that her grandfather told
Could
her.
you imagine being the daughter of one of these presidents, and they're like, "I gotta tell you something in secrecy," and she's like, "Yeah, whatever, Dad." Like, I met an alien. I shook their hand the other day, and they talked to me about a lot of shit, and they gave us all this technology for. Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine.
Well, they
dude.
apparently it was like when he was towards the end of his life.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the
So
most,
he was
yeah.
telling the truth. Like he was telling his family. Apparently it wasn't just her. Apparently he was very close to her, right? Like he cared about his granddaughter. He had a good relationship with her and blah blah. Very loving, nothing bad. Like good. I'm just making sure to clarify that because nowadays it's like 2024. Everyone's like,
a molester.
Besides
Besides us here at the Smartly Uneducated podcast.
oh, I will.
Cheers to that,
Cheers
brother.
to that, my man. 100%. But anyways, with that being said, I switched the camera so it could get us both dinking.
It was nice.
Dinking and sinking. And I'm gonna this last little 10-second thing I'll say about her and that whole thing, and then we'll get back to the pyramids. But apparently, he told like his sons and or not sons, like his actual direct children about it too. Like right before he died, it was at the end of his life. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna tell you the truth."
I would.
That's basically how it went, apparently, justly, right? And so I would too. Shit, if it were to happen to me now, like not me being a president, but let's say I
Ben,
somehow
you gotta stop burping on the podcast. You did it last episode. You do it this time. You gotta not do that.
sorry, bro, sorry, bro.
The listeners are grossed out.
Oh yeah, they are.
We got a lot of emails about it last week.
We got so many emails. Email hole's a little dry right now. The water hole's a little dry.
Yeah. Speaking of, go ahead and email us over at smartlyuneducated@gmail.com. Follow us on all platforms.
And tell us how to make the podcast better. It's really weird because we have a weird following. Like we have our following spikes and then it drops and spikes. I think it's just because we're not one lane type of podcast. We talk everything about conspiracies and then we also talk about
we're
things that aren't
We're a
conspiracies.
mixed bag sort of thing. It's good.
Yeah, too bad we weren't celebrities before we started this. That would have been a lot easier, dude.
It would have been a lot easier.
We kind of suck. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, so that was a fun fact. Let's get back into the pyramids.
So it goes to show, well, not goes to show, it goes to think and makes you wonder if a pyramid is so centrally located in a area in the northern hemisphere that could do some serious damage. If it was a weapon, then why would they want to keep it silent? If it's so near major cities and so near major countries, that seems to me something that should be disclosed to society. Much like nuclear testing sites and nuclear sites in general, they make that all public knowledge. Why wouldn't they make, hey, by the way, we found this ancient, dangerous pyramid buried underneath Alaska? I think that is something that should be notified and told about. Or is it just some sort of communication thing, like you mentioned earlier about a roadmap? Maybe pyramids are so mundane that it's just a intergalactic Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder about other things too, because take the Grand Canyon, for example, right? Supposedly there's pyramids in the Grand Canyon and other architecture that mimics very similar to Egypt, like the what is it called again? The Sphinx.
Yeah.
There's rock formations that look like it had been eroded away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you would have had the head and then the body how it elongates behind it, but it had been cut down, because shit happened, some type of cataclysmic event formed that fucking Grand Canyon. It wasn't. Everyone tried to say it was a river. No, bitch, a river ain't fucking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, feet deep. Not how that works. That's not a fucking river.
I don't agree with that. I mean, erosion shows that water is one of the greatest cutters of all time. I mean, you can look at the Grand Canyon, for instance. If you want to believe that rivers are not the undoing of nature, by all means. But Niagara Falls is an instance. All these major rivers and locations.
Well, the reason why I don't buy it was a river at one point, like a massive.
It still is a
channel of
river.
water. Well, the reason why I don't say it was originally was because when they did there's a whole bunch of articles where they talk about the tectonic plates. Some of the cracks that are in the Grand Canyon that are like how far it goes, even if it's only an inch wide crack, goes all the way down to the tectonic plates. Rivers don't do that. And apparently that was been like that as far as anyone knows.
Hmm.
So it's like that it just opens the door to question.
Could have been an
some
earthquake that
things.
formed it, right?
It could have been or whatever happened, because obviously the world used to be in a different shape at one point
Pangea,
in
maybe.
time. Yeah, and it just makes you wonder if things had from it moving and shifting and like broke shit apart, and that would explain like how water would have gotten in there, because the water could have been a flowing source nearby that area at one point in time, and then something happened that caused a shift and the water was able to get in there, and then we did get the water erosion
I
that
wonder
took
where
place.
the Grand Canyon River ends. Does it go to a lake or does it go to the ocean? Where does the water come from?
Hell, I think, but we're not. Anyways, the reason I brought up the Grand Canyon though was because there's so you're not allowed to go down in certain areas of the Grand Canyon. And
That's correct.
And they say, one, they have a litany of reasons why they claim. One, it's dangerous. That I believe. It's dangerous fuck getting down there. And if water were to rise due to rainfall, things of that nature, yeah, bitch, you're kind of fucked. You're at the bottom of the belly. Like
you are.
you're very fucked. But at the same time, they also they say that there's archaeological shit down there, like where they have like what is that Native American tribe?
Hieroglyphics? No.
No. Like the Native American tribe, like there's photos and stuff. They used the scene in the X-Files at the finale of season 9, back when X-Files actually ended originally, where where it's like huts built like dug into the rock formations. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot what they're called, but basically, apparently that's down in there too.
Yeah, so I mean, there are photos of that, of the ancient ruins of people living inside of the Grand Canyon. There are photos of that. People can't go there because it's like a historical site, and they don't want people ruining it.
Yeah.
Which,
But at the same time,
that's a bogus excuse.
so I say that. I bring it up because that is something that is apparently there. But also, there are apparently tunnels where, like, and we know there for a fact that there's like, they don't call them tunnels, they call them cave maps, right? Maps of caves that are in there.
Cave systems.
And they got it from doing, readings or whatever that scanned through the earth, right?
Mhm.
But apparently there's like tunnels that go into like a massive mapping, like tunnel mapping system, and it goes into massive openings
What?
that are down there. Yeah, and supposedly, now there's not really evidence to support this. This is just someone claiming to be a whistleblower who was in the military.
I like those. I like
Yeah,
whistleblowers.
there was and it wasn't just one person. It was like 3 people who came out periodically.
Did they
over
sewer
the
slide
course.
themselves?
Oh yeah, they're all dead now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like periodically, one by one, after they came, because they all came out one after another, right? Like within like a year span, claiming they say like, no, what this dude says is true. I was a part of a team that was stationed there at one point in time, not the same time he was,
Mm.
but I was there too, and they like guard it, and they also do like supposedly experiments and shit like that on a supposed black pyramid that's made out of a material not on the periodic table, supposedly. But it's all hearsay, right? Like there's no
Physical evidence. There's
Physical
no documents,
evidence.
no photos, no
Nothing.
videos.
It's just the word of a couple whistleblowers, and now they're all dead.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the Boeing incidents as well, right? All these whistleblowers of Boeing.
Yeah, I love
If they're like, hey, this is going bad, and then they get sewer slided,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's evidence in its own right.
Yep, 100%. And so it's just it makes you wonder about some of these, because like, I know that we have information to go off of when it comes to the Denali pyramid, right? We have information we can talk about, we can look at it, we can read it, things like that. But when it comes to the secret pyramids that apparently in these because the military guys claim that it was not cave systems, they're actually tunnel systems, like they're perfectly cut out tunnels that we did
What?
not make.
No
He said like we're
way.
perfectly crafted, like we're talking 90-degree cuts, like perfect 90s, like smooth walls, like he's the. It's been so long since I've read his claims, but I do remember one detail is that the walls were so smooth that it was like going up to a finished table that was fully finished, and like it was that smooth.
I mean, the
Walls
the
and
Finnish
ceiling.
people can make good tables.
Yeah, walls, ceilings, and floors were that smooth.
Hey guys, it's just me here. It's just Evan here with you guys. If you got my joke, please leave a comment down below. But the Finnish people, Ben just sort of jumped right over that joke. Thank you all.
I wasn't meaning to. I was in the zone, my man. But yeah, so it's just like, with that being said, if anything of what they're saying is true, right? It just makes me wonder about a lot of different things.
Well, that's what we talk about all the time, right? Like a very open-ended discussion of what if, like all these different thoughts about conspiracies and thought-provoking discussions. What if, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we are not allowed to go down there to look at them for ourselves, and there's no photos and evidence of it, I could say that Barney is down there. Barney's real, right? So when someone says, "What if it's real?" It's hard for me to be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take that at face value." Much like religion, right? Like, what if Jesus Christ is real? Yeah. What if Bear in the Big Blue House sucked my dick? It's the same shit, right? So yeah, I mean, I hope it's real. That'd be fucking cool. That's why I like to believe in the Black Pyramid in Alaska. That's why I like to believe in the buried city of Atlantis, because there's a LiDAR image off the coast of Cuba of it, and the LiDAR imaging in the rainforest of the ancient relics.
Oh, okay.
Ancient
So
ruins.
get this. Okay, so it says the legend of secret pyramids in the Grand Canyon primarily stems from two articles published by the
1909?
Phoenix Gazette in 1909, which claimed that the explorer G.E. Kincaid had discovered an ancient underground city
Get the fuck
filled
out
with
of here.
artifacts of Egyptian or Asian origin.
Get out of here, dude.
Yep, according to these articles, Kincaid found mummies, hieroglyphs, and other artifacts in a series of man-made caves and tunnels. The story included mentions of involvement by the Smithsonian Institution, which supposedly investigated the site. So the Smithsonian, dude, and we already know the Smithsonian, one, lies about a bunch of shit
And hides a lot of shit.
hides a lot of shit. Dude, at this point, I don't even want to even. I know we don't have evidence. This right here is evidence. So now let's play off of that. Sorry. Oh, you're good. Now let's play off of what we just read. So that came out in the Phoenix Gazette in 1909, and the Smithsonian Institution also was involved. So with that being said, now let's connect it into what the military guys, right? And these military guys came out supposedly whistleblowing this in the 80s, like literally at the end of the 70s going into the 80s. So if that's the case, the government got a hold of this shit, cut it off from everyone. I bet you what happened was the Smithsonian probably came across a bunch of shit down there. It was what it looks like. This is just connecting dots, right? This is still theorizing for things of events. So it's like if the Smithsonian got involved back in 1909 and they came across things that changed the way our lives would function, changed the way that we saw and understood our existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course they're going to cut that off. They cut that off because we already know that, dogmatic reasoning and religions, dogmatic religious, structures are a man-made construct. We already know this, and the Smithsonian has massive ties to the Catholic Church. We already know that as a fact. That is a fact. Like it's irrefutable. They go back a long time, like a long time. Like they work hand in hand with each other. The Catholic Church, in its history, we already know they did a bunch of fucked up shit. I mean, that's a common knowledge, right? But we already know that the Catholic Church has covered up and altered things in history, altered our history, by just changing what information was true and what was false. And they also hide a bunch of shit. They have a fuckload of stuff we already know they do have. We know for a fact because people did leak shit and it was proven they had evidence. And that person ended up passing away randomly afterwards. Numerous people over the past 100 years. Whatever. So we already know that they work hand in hand with the Catholic Church and the Vatican and all that bullshit. So it's like, smells like someone's hiding a bunch of shit.
Just another cover up to make the populace not want to fight back, right? You got to keep remembering, the government does not love you. Government does not
No.
care about you. These people don't want you to succeed. They don't want anything good for you.
No.
So they don't want to tell you any information that would be liable in their negative, right? So if there were hieroglyphics and there are ancient alien or Asian origin ruins in the Grand Canyon, they're not going to want to tell you that.
And
It's much like the Roman relics they found in like Montana. They don't want to say that's real, right?
mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, look at it like this. And I'm gonna bring up politics real quick.
the NRA is getting to you, buddy.
No, it has nothing to do with that actually. We already know the Skull and Bones Society is a real fucking thing. We already know that every president in history has been connected to each other, family tree wise, whether it be blood or by Marion. No joke. They're all connected, going back to the start of our country. No joke. Because the Skull and Bones Society there's enough evidence out there now at this point that you can basically almost flat out say that it was started when the country first formed. We had our first president. It was started very shortly after that.
Mr. George Washington.
God damn, I love that tall, crazy, retarded ginger.
Redhead, black.
Yeah, with his
wooden teeth.
goddamn donkey teeth. Oh yeah, dude, it was a mixture of donkey teeth and slave teeth and ivory teeth.
I mean, could you imagine that redheaded giant running through the trees with his sword screaming gibberish at you?
That insane fuck crossed the goddamn icy river that everyone said you die if you cross it. You wouldn't make it. Bitch was like, get in there, boys. Let's go.
I ain't scared of no water.
They them goddamn British fucks.
He had an AR-15 on his back.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. That's my president right there. But no, it's just like, we know that they're all connected. There is a straight up connection. The only person that wasn't connected into that lineage, that whole spider web of the Skull and Bones, guess who?
I don't know.
Trump. No. And I'm not doing this as a way to defend Trump. That's not my point of bringing this up. But what I'm paying attention to is the reactions of people. Look at what George Bush did. No. Like, this is all connected into what we're talking about, because we're segueing, but they are all they intertwine, right? So basically, what are you looking at right now?
G.E. Kincaid, a document he wrote about the Grand Canyon exploration he did.
Yeah. So let me get this out, and then we'll read that. So Trump himself is unrelated to that whole family tree. He was not a part of the Skull and Bones Society. Never. His family was not.
How come I've never heard of the Skull and Bones Society?
Are you serious? You've never heard of it? George Bush, part of it. Every president has been involved in it. They're a part of the society.
I've never heard of it before.
It's like a fraternity, but it's secret. It was secret, but then it got exposed. And one of the places, the reason, you can thank Alex fucking Jones for that.
No shit.
Alex Jones exposed him. Bohemian Grove, bro. He's the reason people know about the Skull and Bones. And I know Alex Jones has controversy with the guy, right? He's insane. But he's right 99.9% of the time. Yeah, he was a little wrong about any of it. That's
a little wrong.
A little bit wrong. But at the same time, I think there's a chance I think he was intentionally misinformed.
That's possible. I mean,
I think so, because that informant that he was going through, no one really talks about this, but he also has connections financially with certain political leaders that are on the opposite side of Alex Jones.
that's interesting.
I found that out, and that's a fact. Anyways, I'm not here to defend that guy. Nothing like that. I'm not even trying to defend Trump. I'm just pointing out things that are very alarming, right? So, like, look at the persecution of Trump right now. But look at every president in history that has done fucked up shit. Every president has violated all the laws and rules far worse than Trump ever did. Yeah, there's supposedly documents. They didn't find shit in his house. The whole thing that's going on right now is because they just don't want him to be in there because he's not controlled. Plain and simple. But the reason why they don't want him in there, other than him not being controlled, they want someone who's part of their puppeteering. Plain and simple. With the skull and bones thing, all this stuff being exposed, look at George Bush. George Bush did a bunch of fucked up shit.
Yes, he did.
His father did too. Clinton did fucked up shit. Fucking every president, you go through the presidents. Doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. They all did dirty, fucked up things. Except for Homeboy.
Who's homeboy?
JFK.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he had some scandals. Marilyn Monroe, things like that. But yeah, he just thought she was hot. He wanted to bounce her tits. I mean, he let the power get to his head, man.
He did. He did.
He's like, I'm leader of this country. Show me them titties. Like,
I'm pretty sure he was.
you know?
I'm pretty sure he was a bad drunk and he beat women too.
Yeah.
But
he also planned on exposing shit. He was part of Skull and Bones too.
interesting.
But he was planning on destroying the military industrial complex. He wanted to cut it off and expose them. He was going to make an announcement, and it was known to the public. He was going to cut it off. He was going to put a bunch of shit in place because I think with him, the reason why he's an outlier is because his conscience got the better of him. And he was like, this isn't right. We can't do this. This is all wrong. Boom. Moited. But anyways, moving on. The point of what I'm trying to make is that all this shit's connected and it goes all the way back. And then you bring in the pyramid. All this intertwines. This is why when I brought up the breadcrumbs concept, the breadcrumbs go until they stop. But then all of a sudden you notice that the same breadcrumbs are now just laterally moved over here and they start up again.
Yep.
This is all intertwining and overlapping. Anyways, I'm bringing the only reason I brought that up was because of talking about this right here and how it connects in with this weird control that's taking place. And it's creepy shit. It's creepy fucking shit. We do live in a simulation. We do. We totally do.
Yes.
Just not I don't believe this is a digital simulation. I think this is I feel like this is still a real environment, but it's a very altered and fabricated environment that we live in.
It's a societal. Yeah. I can't even say the fucking words. It's a societal structured simulation. They want you to think that you're safe. They want you to think that you're happy. They want you to think, or rather, it's the opposite nowadays. They want you to think that you're unhappy. They want you to think that you're something that you're not. They want you to be confused and then go to them for answers and make you feel as if that they're working for you over and over and over again. It shows itself.
Yep. And then on top of that, speaking of 1909 and the pyramid supposedly that was discovered by G.E. Kincaid, it was G.E., right?
Yeah.
So supposedly with him, right, his discovery of this secret pyramid that's an underground city that's in, through tunneling systems. The only way to get there is through tunnels throughout, from the Grand Canyon. That being said, look at the time frame. Look at the history. So 1909, we were still riding we had tanks. Like, don't get me wrong, you had the Cummins. He created the first diesel engine, hence the Cummins diesel, right? And it was in a tank. And that's where they used it. And that's where we had tanks, right? That was happening. But guess what? The Cummins, when was the Cummins? I want to pull this up because I'm fact checking myself to make sure, because World War I, we had motherfucking tanks out of nowhere.
Yeah. You're right.
Out of nowhere,
And
right?
planes.
So it's like, when was Sorry, I'm pulling this up real quick because I just want to fact check. 1919. So that's the Cummins
Engine, right?
company. The company was founded in 1919.
The engine was invented 20 years earlier.
Yeah. So get this. So yeah, we invented a diesel engine. Cummins invented a diesel engine and put in tanks. But all of a sudden, after 1909, if you look at the history, we jumped leaps and bounds. All of a sudden, by World War II, we had some wild shit compared to World War One,
Oh yeah.
right? And everyone goes, "Oh well, yeah, you discover one thing, it opens a whole bunch of doors." True, but not like that. And then all of a sudden, you get to World War II, and then look at the technology leap to the '60s. Then look at the technology leap from the '60s to the '80s. Look at the first computer ever invented was actually in the '40s. Did you know that?
I did. Yes.
So it's like, okay, all of a sudden we got fucking computers in the '40s. In 1909, the shit was discovered in the United States. Apparently, advanced shit, supposedly advanced technology, all this stuff. That's supposedly like same within Egypt. Apparently, there's shit below the Sphinx that goes into there's like a a corridor or a fucking room, but then there's other tunnels that keep going into other places, and they won't let anyone in the Sphinx. There's old videos that have gotten taken down, and now they've never been resurfaced. But I've seen those videos. They were publicized on the news in the '90s. Yeah, because there was a guy who snuck into the Sphinx, went in through got inside of it, and there was a tunnel that was leading at a very steep angle down, but then was blocked off. A man-made object, like a recent man-made object within the past, whatever, 100 years, it was something recent, was put there in case someone came in, so they couldn't go any farther down. It just makes you wonder. I'm just pointing this out because it's like the leaps in technology. Obviously, something was found. Obviously.
Oh, there's no other explanation.
You know? And so it's like, it just makes me wonder, what potentially could they have discovered in the Grand Canyon's secret pyramids that supposedly exist that they were able to utilize and start creating new forms of technology out of? Because all of a sudden we had a fucking computer in the '40s, bro. They were, and the funny thing is, yeah, we had a computer, but yet they were still using fucking little fucking switchboards with pull this huge fucking coax cable out and plug it into this bitch just to send a fucking telegram. It's not like you're making a fucking phone call. You know what I mean? Like, but yet they got a big ass fucking computer though. But yet they're still fucking around with that. No, that shit don't add up to me. It just doesn't add up. It just doesn't. And with the leaps and bounds of technology, like, I'm inclined to think that obviously something's being hidden. Something's not adding up. But moving on. What I want to talk about the thing you pulled up. Here it is. The camera's on you.
Well, I mean, before you jump over to that, the leaps and bounds of technology that we've taken that has led us to 2024, the year of our Lord, today. And NASA has just announced that they have figured out a propulsion device that defies physics. So from
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
It says here NASA's
Can I pull it up here? I want to
Yeah.
pull it up here so I can see it.
Yeah.
What is it?
I can email it over to you.
Or what did you search to find it? Just NASA.
Type in NASA propellantless propulsion drive.
Propellant.
No, less, like no more propellant. Propellant less. LESS.
Oh,
Propulsion drive.
it's weird looking at this angle. Is this it? Which was it? This one?
I'm on the debrief.org, but I'm sure all of them will do just
Cool.
the same.
Let's see what it says. I'm gonna screen capture this.
Yeah, it uses photonic lasers.
Whoa. So propellant spacecraft for formation, flying, and maneuvering with photonic laser thrusters. Okay, so this is for in outer space though. This isn't for zooming around.
No, it counteracts Earth's gravity, so they can use it against gravity
Whoa.
and push themselves away. It says Dr. Charles Bueller, a NASA engineer and the co-founder of Exodus Propulsion Technologies, has revealed that his company's propellantless propulsion drive, which appears to defy the known laws of physics, has produced enough thrust to counteract Earth's gravity.
So look at this. So it's got pictures in here, right? It's got like, just to give like an example, or so it's describing it. So the photon thrust can be amplified and beamed via recirculating photons. Which, funny thing about photons is that they act differently when you're looking at them,
Yes, they do.
which is wild. That is some dude.
Some's a miss there. Some's acting up there.
Yeah, that's so weird. Between space platforms with the use of high power laser and optic technology. So
Type
as
in,
you,
type-
sorry, I was going to describe the
Go ahead. Yeah, go
thingy.
ahead.
So obviously, so this is the main resource vehicle. The photon thrust comes out. Whoa. So I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. This is the first time I've ever heard of this. Um, this is beyond me, anyways. But but didn't they say that this is supposedly right? So this whole thing is supposedly, it was not supposed to be even possible because it
Correct.
defies physics.
Yeah. They're shooting photons to propel something in a like, very laser focused mind, in a very focused sense.
And since the photons are self-aware in a weird way, we can say they're self-aware because they intentionally act differently when you look at them. Even if you're looking at it through a camera and you're not in the room, they've done the tests.
Hmm.
It's really weird. The only way that it acts differently, as long as you're not visually looking at it, the only way they're able to see it is by recording it and not looking at it. But
Yeah.
the moment you look at the monitor, there's videos. So anyone listening to this so far, YouTube that shit. Look it up on YouTube. Google it. What the fuck ever. Whatever browser you use, this is 100% real. I'm not talking about just this new propulsion type system and this craft. I'm talking about what photons do.
So
It's very fucking creepy and weird.
if you would go to altpropulsion.com. I know we were meant to talk about pyramids, but pyramids have brought us to new technology, because if pyramids are ancient technology where we have gotten new technology and materials from, then this would be the next step in it, right?
So latest news.
So it says, good grief, it keeps changing the screen. Explore the frontiers of science with alternative propulsion physics. Join the scientists and innovators creating the future of space flight. So it shows you this crazy fucking image
Whoa.
that is obviously computer generated of what is potential for our future in space flight and rockets.
The fuck out of town. Oh, so is this the Alternative Propulsion Engineering Conference? Is that what you were looking at?
Yeah.
This one here?
Not necessarily that one specifically, but the document from the debrief.com or .org brought me here.
Yeah, look at this one. This is APEC, Horizon Drive, Graviflyer, and Gravitational Coupling.
Yeah.
Quantum Horizon. What the fuck is it, dude? We're gonna have to do a whole episode.
Yeah,
about
so
this shit.
they on 420 they released the Graviflyer like technology. For
So this is the one you're reading about.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna click on it. If it will work, there we go. Oh, it's a YouTube video, but we're not gonna watch that. We'll get
Demonetized.
We'll get flagged and it will restrict our stuff. We get shadow banned all the time.
Oh, we are right now probably.
So, dude, I don't want to have to read all this
Yeah, I
right
know.
now on the podcast.
We can do it at a later date. It's mostly I wanted to bring it up because of the technologies that we have gone from 1940 to 2024, and now we have created a propellantless technology to make us fly.
Yeah, because you look at history, shit don't add up. Because look at how technology advanced for the past thousands of years.
Exponential.
Like, look at it every 100 years and how it advanced. Very slow, very fucking slow. But then all of a sudden, another thing that happened was the Roswell incident, and then there was also other UFO incidents that have come to light after the whole Roswell thing, right?
Yep.
That we know happened before Roswell, where apparently crafts were recovered. And apparently they also recovered crafts in archaeological finds in Egypt. So, and that's from Bob Lazar. And everything Bob Lazar has said has come true 100%. He has not been wrong yet. Everything that he claimed in the 80s is now, everything has been getting proven correct.
Yeah.
And he said that what he was told about where crafts were found, that how they had like 5 or 6 of them in this hangar, and some of them one of them had blast damage on it of some form, like where it had been in some type of firefight of some nature. And then there's one that was a whatever the shape he described that was found in an archaeological dig in Egypt, apparently, like where the pyramids are. So it's like, we obviously been taking technology from that, because you look at from these instances, and all of a sudden we leaped in technology to where we have fucking computers in our pockets, micro fucking computers, where you can also do quantum computing is a real fucking thing.
Where DARPA is taking over insects to fly them around.
And that's a fact. You can go to DARPA's website. They literally talk about how they have injected essentially nanobites that they've designed, tiny, tiny artificial intelligent microchips that literally control it, and they control the moth and
like
fly it around like a drone. Yeah. This is all real shit. People need to, there are so many people with their heads in the fucking sand.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off. Fucking ostriches.
I don't know why.
There's an ostrich that does that, right?
You flip the camera onto me whenever you
I was
said it
expecting
pisses
you to
off.
have a reaction, but it was good enough. It was good enough. But dude, this is some wild shit. And this is all connected, because if you think about it, so just to bring it Bizarre, the archaeological find, right? That apparently where they found a UFO at a pyramid. I mean, and then all of a sudden UFO sightings all over. And I know my intent with this, I wasn't even thinking about aliens talking
Me
about
either.
pyramids before we even did this.
Me either. I know they go hand in hand, but that was not our intent to go here.
No.
Our intent was to go and talk about pyramids that have been redacted from maps and redacted from documents so that people can't find them whenever there are whistleblowers and documents that are written about in newspapers that in 1909 are written about and have been published. And that was the whole intent, to talk about those type of pyramids. And then we got sidetracked by the aliens because the technology basis
so it
goes hand in hand.
In the 80s, so here's another example of technology.
I'm gonna grab me another beer.
Yeah, go ahead. So in the 80s, another example of advanced technology that we didn't even fathom existed in the public sphere. We had no idea. No, I'm all right. We had no fucking clue whatsoever. And I'm going to bring up Bob Lazar one more time, because he talked about the way that how they identified you to get into the area S4. And it was by putting your hand on a hand scanner, and it measured the bones in your hand. And it was like an X-ray type thing. And it would measure the bones in your hand. Everyone was like, that technology doesn't exist back then. They're like, even everyone in the science community, in the public sphere, when his story got out, they're like, he's such a fucking liar. And
Didn't
all
he
this
say
shit.
that it had pillars or posts coming out of the hand reader, so it mimics where your hand and spreads it out for you?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're everywhere. Now they're all over government facilities.
They don't use them. They have a more advanced version of it now,
of course,
obviously. But the thing is that he said that existed, and that's what they did. That's how they knew it was you, to get clearance to go in.
Thank you, Guinness.
Hell yeah, brother. But with that being said, it's one of those things where, on the technology level wise, the public sphere, all the science communities, everyone around the world, except for these black off the book projects who people didn't know existed, right? Everyone's like, that shit doesn't exist. That's like fucking something you'd see in a comic book.
Yeah.
Fast forward to now, you can, due to the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, you can literally look up that exact same device. They did it on JRE with Bob Lazar and pulled it up. And it showed that they were using it back in the 70s.
Dude.
Everything he has said has been fucking proven to be true so far. There has not been one thing that has been a lie. So with that being said, that the advancement of technology since basically, after World War I was so exponential. It is not because we discovered something with the nuclear bomb and it just opened up all these doors.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. Like the route that it's gone, just fucking skyrocketing like it has. We have never had an advanced technology leap ever in history that happened in a tiny little fucking speck, dust speck of time. No, it's because we found shit. They had access to things and they were able to fuck with it, have enough minds get in there and fuck with it and take aspects of that technology and reverse engineer it and make new technology out of minute parts of it.
I love that. I love it so much.
Yeah. Sorry, this shit jazzes me up, but it also pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
It pisses me off so fucking bad. Like, because there's so many people out there that when you talk about this, you lay it out. Like, you're either just choosing to be a fucking ignorant piece of shit, or it challenges something within your belief structure or your indoctrination from childhood. Because you're indoctrinated to it as a kid.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think it stems from the indoctrination and the thing inside of them that says, no, I was told by teacher that this isn't real, or this is how it is, rather. Not some guy says this in a book or on a news channel that this is real, and I shouldn't believe that guy. Who's this guy? My teacher in school told me this is real, or the Bible tells me this is real, or whatever it is that has their morals in line. Once they see a document by G.N. Kincaid talking about artificial intelligence or ancient technology in the pyramids inside the Grand Canyon, saying that this is real shit, and they're like, no, there's no way. That one guy, no.
Yeah.
My textbooks tell me I have to have my sort of grounds. If you're too scared to open up your mind to other possibilities, then you're going to be left in the dust.
Yeah, and and just to show how open-minded that you and I are, we even had a sit down with a flat fucking earther.
Yeah, we did.
And don't get me wrong, dude was off his fucking rocker. And then not because of the flat Earth theories, just his other theory.
His anti-Jew theories.
Oh yeah, he hated a lot of people, and he liked Hitler.
Yes, he did.
So that podcast never got to air because of the horrible shit that he started saying.
Yeah.
We couldn't. There's no way we could put that out because he was saying such horrible, hateful things towards so many different demographic of people that and cultures that it was like, dude, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But with that being said, though, like, just how open-minded we are. We even dove into the flat Earth. And I've dove into flat Earth even outside of that episode. I've dove into all their theories and watched their stupid YouTube videos just to be, because I found it fascinating that people believe this. So I was like, okay, if there's enough people emotion behind it, I want to see what's going on with it. I just out of curiosity, not because I just like, oh, well, there must be truth to it. No, it's just curiosity. I'm objective. I'm going to question everything. I'm going to go research it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the flat Earth thing's a bunch of bullshit. 100%. I'm not trying to knock on flat earthers here. I'm sure some of you are cool people, but fortunately, you got a lot of fucking psychos in your little groups. I mean, but that comes with the territory with anybody, though. Everyone's got their psychos. Theirs is a very alarming percentage rate, though.
I mean, we even had a woman on our podcast. That's how open-minded we are.
Yeah. We decided, like, you know what? You can come in here for like 2 hours and not have to worry about laundry or making sandwiches. It's a joke. It's a joke, people. My wife is a bad bitch. And if she was in on this episode right now, she would be like, to quote her, I know she would say, "Aka, excuse me." She likes to say, "Aka, excuse me," because of what was that stupid?
Mars Attacks?
No. Mars Attacks is a good movie. No, it was what was that movie where it's about the acapella groups and they sing and shit? It's a funny movie.
With
it's got Anna Kendrick
Adam
in
Devine
it.
in it. Adam Devine in it.
Yeah.
Glee?
No. I can't remember the name of the fucking movie.
High School Musical.
No, it's more of no, it's not High School Music. I forgot. It's a movie. I can't remember. But it's got Anna Kendrick in it, and it's got a dude from Glee in it, too. I just can't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. Moving on from that. Let's get back to them fucking pyramids that we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah, of
Which
course.
it's all connected, folks.
Well, aliens and pyramids go hand in hand. I mean, we've said it a dozen times now so far.
Yeah.
once we get deeper into a pyramid conversation like we did with the Alaskan one that's buried underneath, which I don't know if we could, but I would love to see some sort of visual representation, if there is one out there, of how large it actually is. Because the document that we read says that it is 1,000 miles out. People would be feeling the energy from it if it is so powerful. If it is to be real, there has to be some sort of mapping or representation. I think it'd be amazing.
I was, oh boy. Means it was detecting my other things running right now.
Yes, it was.
It's okay. It's working now. Anyways, we're not going to talk about what that was all about. So
I just want to see a visual representation. Like I'm sure somebody has drawn it on a MS Paint sheet. Just like this, how big it is.
I know, right? Keep talking.
I mean, that's really about it. I mean, because if the implications of it being so enormous and they're trying their best to hide it, how come the people in Alaska aren't locating it and feeling it? And yeah, I got no words. I'm just so fucking tired of all this hiding that they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody else in the world is as well. Instead of them just pussyfooting it around, if you excuse the term, why don't they just come out balls in and explain themselves?
And that's a good side-by-side comparison. It is, because you got snow built up, all that stuff, kind of showing the similar
the
shapes.
shadow, though, on the left, though.
Yeah, I mean, but that also depends where the sun is, too.
It depends on the sun. It depends on how long it's been eroded. Also, that looks like snow has been built up on the side of it for a while as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because when you do this, boom, boom, boom.
There's 3 in a row, the same exact pattern that they have.
That simulates Orion,
Mhm.
and supposedly that's the same that's in Denali National Park.
Big, small, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know, man. I did get to read a supposed whistleblower, right, who came out about the Black Pyramid in Antarctica. This was I only got to see like a partial video. And this was like 5 years ago. Oh no, maybe it was longer. I think it was like 8 years ago, dude. But I know the video got taken down. And this was like, man, maybe it was a little bit longer than that. I think it was like early 2010, like somewhere around 2010 to 2012. A video surfaced on YouTube of a guy not blurring his face or anything. And he basically stated right off the bat that he said, it doesn't matter if I blur my face. They're going to know who I am by talking about
No
this.
shit.
Yeah, he said he didn't care. He's like, he said he was tired of living in fear. He said he was tired of the threats, and he just wanted it to be over. And he said, you know what, if I'm going to die, like basically he stated, like, if I'm going to die, I want to say the truth, because no matter what, I'm going to get killed. He's like,
So-
I'd rather say the truth.
This is exactly what I was looking for.
What is this?
That is the representation of the area of effect of the pyramid and the holy radial lines in conjunction with all the other pyramids.
Where'd you pull this from?
I just typed in Black
I'm
Pyramid
gonna look it up.
Alaskan visual representation.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to pull it up. Can you keep talking real quick?
Yeah, so this pulls up the like exact location of
Sorry,
where
how did you word that again?
Alaska Black Pyramid representation.
You can talk again though.
Sorry, I'm over here looking at my phone at the image. So the image represents.
Was it in the images?
Yeah, so it's right there.
Oh, there it is. I will make it full screen so people can see it, and I'm going to.
So
go
it's on
ahead
the
and
outer banks
switch over.
of Fairbanks, and it's closer to Russia than it is to Canada. I'm not sure what the orange circle represents. Perhaps another pyramid. But all these lines you see,
Oh, I think that's Denali.
that is definitely Denali, right?
That's Denali. The orange is Denali. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so people can see. Oh, it's only going to let me do that much.
So, if I'm not mistaken, that red circle is where the military base is located as well.
Mm-hmm.
and if the pyramid is underneath that location, and you see where Anchorage is, and you see where Fairbanks is, I wonder what other cities or whatever is over there.
You have to remember also how large these mountain ranges are in Alaska.
Oh, they're
man.
enormous.
They put the United States, what we have within the main body of the United States, to shame.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's endless. And just so people, if you don't know about Alaska, you can't you can't drive a car through, like, I think it's like you cannot drive to, like, not through 90% of it because it's inaccessible by vehicle. You would have to go on foot or with sleds, and the sleds only take you X amount of a distance, and then you would have to go by foot or fly a fucking plane over. But you can't because the airspace is restricted.
Yeah, it's a restricted
and it's
airspace.
guarded by the United States fucking Air Force.
Yeah.
The majority of Alaskan airspace is completely cut off.
Mm-hmm.
That is another fucked up
A
thing.
red flag, if I've ever heard of one.
Now, granted, they have some other shit up there that's not related to the Denali National Park, that they say is, whatever weather. Well, actually, that's a good thing. We were talking about that. One of the other things up there is their weather modification shit,
Yeah.
and that's a known fact, where they experiment with the weather, and we already know weather modification has been basically proven to be real. Like,
So
Yeah.
I clicked on the link that is offered here, and it does bring me to Reddit, which we all know isn't always the biggest advocate
yeah,
or
but
whatever.
dude, shout out to Reddit, the heroes of fucking
Yes,
Reddit, dude.
I was gonna say.
The Reddit heroes have exposed so much shit over the years.
Yes, they have.
No. Like, dude, like, I know everyone, when you hear Reddit, you think bullshit, but then truth at the same time, right? Like, it's a toss up.
So I also think Reddit is a psyop as well. They're the biggest user.
Oh, a
of,
new conspiracy here.
the biggest user of Reddit is a military base in North Carolina with a population of like 10,000 people, and they have
Wait, what?
over 150,000 users running out of that location on an everyday basis.
What the?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So the biggest user of Reddit is a military base.
Yeah, and it's a population of the city is like 10,000 or something of that nature, and it has over 150,000 traffic users every day there, out of there.
You ever think that maybe they're the ones getting on here and exposing shit?
Possibly.
Man, the government's watching that shit, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
If that's what it's doing, if it's not a psyop, right? And they're just people whistleblowing. Be very careful, my friends.
So click read more.
I will click read. Oh, I know what words do.
So it gives you mileage, radius, and different aspects of travel. So it has from Unalakatlit, which I would imagine is some city up there. It's a 6-hour bus drive in a military bus style in the 1960s. And it gives you radiuses, and from the pyramid's apex at number 4 here, it says is 150 feet below the tundra. So it's not really all that deep. It is saying that it is within the tundra. I mean, sorry, I keep saying and thinking in the process here because I'm simply reading it as you all are as well. Just found this as we're
The military
researching here.
facility has a minimal footprint on the surface, so it's all below ground.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Within 5-mile radius of the pyramid site, compass/horizon and other flight instrumentation go haywire. Whoa. Well, I mean, we're talking about the electromagnetic waves that come off of it.
Yeah, they said the energy is what they said.
Oh my God, does that, dude? I just thought of something. Let me get back to our normal view. So I just thought of something. So they talk about the Bermuda Triangle. So the Bermuda Triangle, I know in the movies they talk about it, like you before you even look into what the Bermuda Triangle is. Bermuda Triangle is a massive fucking area. Just so people know, it is fucking massive. Like, it is not a small, like, oh, they're flying through this 1 square mile and all the gadgets fuck up and they fail and then the planes go missing. No, the Bermuda Triangle is fucking huge.
It's enormous.
You could have like 1 million planes flying through that bitch. like with how massive it is at different levels, right? Not all side by side, but like we're talking about like at different levels, shit like that. Like the Bermuda Triangle, though, one thing about it that does happen is that the planes that do go missing in it, right? And supposedly the recordings that have been pulled from planes that were last received before they lost all communication when they were in the Bermuda Triangle, all the planes that have in common that go missing is that averagely they all go missing over this one channel,
Yeah.
right? And it makes you wonder if you lose all your instruments and all the shit goes crazy, right? So when you're in a plane at high altitude, you depend on your instruments. It's not like you can look down and see the ground in most planes because you're like either up in the clouds or whatever. You're at high altitude. You can't just look. It's not like there's a peephole and go, hey, look, there's the water. We know we're level. You know what I mean? So it's like if your instruments all go fucking haywire, you don't know what's down, what's up. That plane is going to eventually start, changing which angle it's flying
Absolutely
at.
it is.
Because you have no fucking idea. You depend on your instruments. So it's like, if that shit's happening there because of a fucking pyramid, makes you wonder what the fuck's down below the water right there.
Oh.
What if there is another kind of set of pyramids down below there, and that's what's causing these planes to go missing because they're flying over, or maybe it's like a city that's buried under the water. That they got lost in time because maybe it used to be at the surface, and then due to cataclysmic events and things changing, it's now below the water, but the pyramids are intact. Or maybe it was never due to a cataclysmic event. Maybe that's just where they were fucking built, because we do see UFOs. One of the main places they come from are the fucking ocean.
Yes, it is.
And they are a multi-terrain vehicle. They can literally fly into the ocean and they don't even slow the fuck down. Anything else hits the water, anything to our knowledge other than a UFO, when it hits the water, it immediately, like the speed, if you hit it 100, the water at 100, it's going from 100 to like 20 miles per hour real fucking
It's
fast.
like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, and then destroying itself. But these things zip into the water and don't even slow down.
As if it's air.
Yeah, as if it's fucking air.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, like, there's got to be a connection somewhere in there with this shit. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. I know we have no evidence of a pyramid in the Bermuda Triangle.
But
The shape of the Bermuda Triangle is called a triangle for a reason. And if you make a triangle 3D, you have a pyramid.
yeah, what if it's just the Bermuda Pyramid instead of the triangle? Huh?
Womp womp. Like, uh-oh. Cool story, bro. Like, but no, serious, no. There's obviously, that was me just making a connection to similarities, like instruments going haywire, all that stuff.
We should read that one.
I'm going to pull that up so people can see it. So it says, unknown if the 6-hour bus ride was nonstop. Speed is unknown, nor would have been constant, also needing to use a mix of road types and directions.
So these are just clues that they have to inform the actual location of the pyramid. There's one here that says the 2-hour flight, the 2-hour Huey flight, which they indicated earlier, is much more interesting and helpful. As stated, the Huey flew in a straight A to B line directly from Uneducated to the surface of the Black Pyramid working site. The UH-1N model Huey has a cruising speed of 125 miles per hour. Thus, we now have two inputs, speed and time. To run a basic speed distance time calculation is not an X marks the spot type of thing. Again, these inputs are fungible. Precise cruising speed, weight, altitude, flight time aren't known. Adjusting these input yields a different output. So it's saying this plane went haywire, as I mentioned earlier and a little later on in here, but the 2-hour flight is a relative based information because they don't have all the aspects and weight and mathematic abilities.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all interesting, and I'm not trying to bring us to a stopping point, but this is the 3-minute call.
Yeah, I got you.
I didn't realize what time it was. But yeah, so let's recap real quick. Let's wrap this up, because we could sit here and talk about all this shit. Obviously, we need to designate more time on another episode to talk about the pyramids, and the Denali pyramid and things of that nature. they all deserve their own isolated discussion, without jumping between different ones. Our intent was not to go into aliens on stuff, but and other layers that we kind of talked about. But you can't help but do it because of
it's
that.
hard.
Yeah, and then especially since we were just walking into this, the whole plan was just to talk about secret pyramids or theorized or conspiracy type pyramids that have some form of circumstantial evidence or some evidence altogether
Yep.
that they do exist but are being ex-nayed to our knowledge, like from the public sphere. So with all that being said, I would implore everyone who has listened to this thing this whole time, if you have made it this far, good for you. You do deserve a raise from your boss. Look into this shit. Literally look into it. Start looking into the stuff about.
Isn't
the
it fucking
pyramids.
cool though? Like
It is very
the
fucking
lay
cool.
lines, the sight lines from Denali to where the pyramid is supposedly at, cross lines at the radius of all of these things.
Yeah, and on top of that, oh sorry, I need to switch
Oh,
the
you're
camera
good.
over to you. But no, they also they also, if you, that map that we had shown everyone, it's the person who apparently made it. What I was just seeing on there was that the uploader is unknown,
Yeah.
but someone made this, and that's a very well made map, and they took the time to do it. And it makes me wonder because I've seen. It's funny when you look at military maps, like sightline military maps, where they have guidelines to show
Yep.
straight point connections. Look really similar to that.
Yeah, it's a very well documented and laid out cartographer based map with all the ley lines needed.
I want to throw something out here.
You keep switching to the wrong time.
I know. Oh, I'm switching to you because I want to see your expression
Oh,
when I
gotcha.
say it. So, I'm just kidding. I'll switch back and forth. Basically, how you said this stuff was, you think it's a psyop, right? Let's go off that idea to
Yeah.
close this out. If this is a psyop, right? What if this is how they spoon feed us tidbits of information? Some bullshit, some real. This potentially is real.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's lining up to potentially be real. Like, what if this is a grooming factor, like to prepare you for when things do become revealed at some point in time? Like, if you want your kid to eat your vegetables, right? Let's say you have a kid that doesn't want to eat his vegetables. Well, how you get around that, if let's say it's a really bad relationship in that way with vegetables and trying to get your kid to eat, and the kid will not eat, throws massive fits, and you as a parent real fucking sick of it. And you're like, all right, well, I know if we tell him about the vegetable, it's gonna contradict everything else in the meal, and it's gonna cause a lot of problems. So what if we take his vegetables and mash them up and slowly feed him into his food and mix it in with like mashed potatoes or what the fuck ever, right? To get you to start eating that fucking vegetable. It's like for a soft disclosure type thing up until there is a full disclosure that does take place. It makes you wonder. It makes me wonder that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because if the psyop thing, I didn't know that, man.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It totally does. Once you realize, or once you find out that the most users for Reddit in like a concealed location, one town, one city, is a military base, it sort of opens your eye to these sort of documents and these sort of things that are just released, especially whenever it's a first view video of an alien footage or first view footage of a war scene or things like that are posted on Reddit first. And then they're posted around the internet to like 4chan and other things after that. I don't know. It's just some food for thought, right?
Well, I did, just to close this out, last thing I want to say about Reddit. It has to do with like UFO videos and photos that have come out, right? Over the years.
Yeah.
So supposedly, you remember the triangle craft video that was over that aircraft carrier,
course.
that vessel,
Yeah.
military craft or military Navy ship, and they were just spinning up there, and then the Navy was like, "What the fuck?" The guys on the ship are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, you can hear them.
Yeah, they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, what the fuck are these things? It makes you wonder. It makes me wonder if things like that so supposedly that particular video, how it got released, the reason why it got publicized was because it leaked on Reddit first.
Yep.
That was something I read about. And I don't know if that's actually 100% true. I don't know.
I remember that. Yeah, I believe that is true.
And then all of a sudden now it was getting publicized because like you couldn't hide it anymore. People like, because I guess when it got on the Reddit, from what I read, it was like once it got on the Reddit, people were grabbing it immediately because it was authentic. Like it was like without a doubt authentic footage from a military, a Navy ship.
Yeah.
And so people were already grabbing copies of it, like, you know, taking screen recordings, the works. So you couldn't just rip it down and say it's not real. People had recordings of it now. So it's like, then they went ahead and did a whole media outlet on it, you know, and it went through the media. And we already know the government controls the media 100% on all sides, whether you're left or right leaning, it doesn't fucking matter. They literally control it. It's intentional to have the divide and have everything the way it is. So I don't know. I didn't know if there was any truth to that or not, if that's how it actually played out. Because I didn't get to see it show up on Reddit first. I saw it on the media like everybody else.
Gotcha.
And did more digging. But apparently Jeremy Corbell knew about that shit before it ever went public.
Jerry Corbell's wild. I mean, I followed the R Aliens subreddit pretty well, and the conspiracies one as well, because sometimes there are undisclosed documents that just pop up there all the time. People are like, oh shit, look at this, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's fun to catch those if you can. But anyway, thank you all for listening so much. Smartly Uneducated. If you made it this far, I applaud you. As Ben said momentarily ago, if you are able to, go follow us on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, you name it.
Apple Podcasts.
What did I say?
You said music.
Apple Podcasts, yeah.
Yeah, on our Apple Music is a lot of womp womp. You know?
So send us an email over at smartlyuneducated@gmail.com, and make sure, as always, that you make everybody watch this and listen to us. Force feed it to your grandmother, your dog, and your children. Yes.
And if your grandmother doesn't want you to allow this to happen, of you force feeding it to them, punch her in her stupid old face. I'm kidding. Don't punch her. Shoot her.
Kick my grandmother, slap my daddy in the mouth, piss in my bowl of oatmeal. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, my man. I will say, all right, we are ending this now. Just a little thought to put in your head to think about as I close us out and then hit stop on this. Imagine your grandparents fucking, because that's how your parents were born.
I hate you so much.
Congratulations.
I hate you so fucking
You just saw
much.
2 really old russet potatoes with spores growing out of them.
I hate you. I hate
There you go.
so much.
Yeah, your
awful.
old grandma's getting that dick shoved down her throat.
Why? No. Ugh.
Gam, no. Papa, what are you doing?
Stop it. In this.
Stop it. To do it again. Like,
In this.